Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytoven, and this idea will probably help you like just rethink the beats or songs, the projects you're just working on, and it's something that comes from history. Just back in high school, basically, me and my friend used to like it had nothing to do with music. All right, this idea alone. Now he took philosophy, I took all the gym classes. You feel me? So it's just like, I guess in terms of a friendship, the duality, it's you know what I'm saying, right there, balance. Because it's just like, but I understood it, right? And there was this one philosophical idea that's there. I just don't remember what it is, and I tried to look it up, but I still can't remember, or I couldn't even find it. Just because I don't quite know what to look up. And you might say, well, just look up what I'm about to say right now. And that didn't work either. But it's just like there's like an original copy or idea of just whatever that I guess is just in this reality already out there. Maybe it's like just to make it real easy to think about this and understand what I'm trying to say. Maybe there's a server, all right, that already has that's holding all the data. I mean, you know what I mean? Okay? And maybe we can say the data is simply just ideas, all right? And you know, every once in a while, some human being might get a great idea and be able to manifest that idea and create something, right? Could be a chair, right? Could have been a light bulb. You feel me? Could have been anything. Um, but we're gonna talk about music here. We're gonna talk about how you have an idea for a song, these frequencies, these notes, these melodies, whatever you're using, these elements, right? They already exist somewhere out there in whatever combination you already thought of. You know what I'm saying? And you just got it as an idea, and you're trying to copy and paste it. Now it's still original. You feel me? To us, because you got the idea. But the thing is that you can only take that idea so far, is because you only know how to do so much, right? And then maybe you only work so fast, so then you lose the idea, you lose the spark. You know what I mean? And maybe that's when even understanding just comes into play. But just think about that. The fact that like you know, even the last beat that I just worked on, right? That was an idea that already exists out there in the universe. There's probably a better version of what I did, but I did the best I could do. You know what I mean? And maybe, right? It might take someone else from halfway across the globe. Who knows? That might be able to shape that idea into its perfect form. Who knows, right? And then you could just think about that just being the vision, right? Because when you and maybe more than one other person can see this vision, shape this vision, go to this vision, you know what I'm saying? Then that's just like when you can start creating, manifesting, producing, whatever you want to call it, right? I know this is like FL Studios, but it's just like in terms of music, like I just said, it might quite possibly be a thing where that one beat that really made you feel something, right? Yeah, it was put together by humans, but it's just like somewhere out there in the universe. Might I even say multiverse? It already was a thing. You ever see those movies, and they don't show this anymore, where like people are like flying through space and they come across just random frequencies of songs and stuff like that? You ever see that? And like it depends how old you are, but then you realize how like, and I'm not old, 28. You realize how like they don't show that anymore. Not that it matters, right? I'm not trying to get to conspiracy, but that's how powerful music could be, right? Not that you need to make your song so loud it can be heard from halfway across the galaxy, but you can conduct. I'm gonna say conduct, even though that's a crazy word to say. This idea from this higher plane of existence, right? You can boil it, distill it down to what our ears can understand. Who knows, right? It's just music, sound waves, frequencies, stuff like that. You could share it, pass it along for all of us to experience, and it'd just be that something timeless, right? Something that already was, and when we experience something that is, and something that um, just will continue to be sound, music. You know what I mean? I think that's what the universe is in essence, right? Universe being just one unified verse, one big verse, one big old song. What if space isn't quiet? What if space is deafeningly loud? Or what if we just can't hear? What everything vibrates at a certain level. You know, when I was going through not Metro PCS texting me, but when I was starting to understand something, everything vibrates. Everything has its own tune and frequency and stuff like that. And it's just like the music's already out there, right? We are the conductors basically. Like, you know, hey, I can get real deep into some shit, all right? But I'm not going to. But you know when people try to meditate and shit like that, they try to like do their vibrations and frequencies and stuff like that. I don't meditate. But just think about that too. Everything vibrates. Everything has a song. Everything has a note. Everything is musical, right? It's just interesting how our reality is, how we experience it through our senses too, like hearing and seeing and feeling, right? And multiple other things that I'm not gonna list off, even though there's only like fucking 5 of them, right? Unless you have the 6th one, you know what I mean? But it's just like a feeling. But yeah, I don't know. It's in order. Maybe if you have this idea that feels timeless, and maybe if you don't think you have had that, maybe what I said can open your mind up to something, right? It's important that you focus on it, and just understand it, right? When I start laying down like chords, for example, that sound cool with a certain sound, it's just like, okay, what can I keep building off of this? And I'll keep listening to it over and over. It's because I want the idea to keep staying fresh. You know what I mean? I can maybe vary the idea, right? When I start arranging it, maybe I didn't have the perfect sound. Well, this sound will suffice. Now I have to try to, right, still, you know, keep its original integrity of the idea that I had in mind. Is because once you add like a specific sound and it's not the right sound but it works, you completely change like the vibe, right? Vibration, the frequencies, right? That's when you gotta mix it together differently, arrange it differently. The idea changes a little bit, right? You've mutated it. But it's how powerful sound is. It's interesting what our reality boils down to. Cause listen, people listen. sound. Listen, it's crazy. People listen, they follow, right? If someone said your name really loudly, you'd stop in your tracks and look around. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't continue to go without understanding what's happening. You feel me? Like if you heard the song that makes you start crying and you really connected to it, you right, or it makes you start feeling something and you start crying, like that's what music can do. A lot of people have lost sense or lost their touch with that stuff, but there's certain things that can help you get in touch with that. Yeah, like your mom.